let's talk about centering. Centering text. So let's say I wanted to know how to center text. You can see here my HTML code. You can see my page. I have a picture and I have some text. I gave it a class center. So I called the class center, and now I can do anything I want just to this paragraph, or any paragraph, or anything that has this class. So let's update. This is my style. I'm going to say dot center text align. Oh, did I spell it wrong? Text align center. So this is saying anything with the class center should be the way you would center text. You'd say text align center. So I'm going to refresh this and see if it worked. Yes, welcome to my home page is now centered. So centering text is not hard. If we want to center, let's say a div, a whole block of code, we can do that too. So let's say I want this whole thing, my welcome to my home page with my image, basically my whole div to be centered, my whole div, which is called main, to be centered. So let me show you how to do that. Here I can say pound, it's an ID, main, and I can say text align center. It's not just text. This is a block of code, and what I can say is I can set the auto here. So I can set the margin right and the margin left to auto. So let's try that. Margin right, auto, margin left, auto. But I want to show you, we will also need a width. I'll show you why. Let's say I set the width of it to 70%, the margin right and the margin left to auto. Let's try. Here, now we centered the whole thing. What would have happened if I didn't do this? Let's get rid of it. Save. So it doesn't really, actually, let's get rid of this. That's the reason the first part is centered, to show you how it looks. It doesn't really center very well if you don't set the width, or else it doesn't, the way it works is if you set the width and you say, well, let's say here, 50%, you set the width of this box, this div, this block of code, and then you can say margin right, margin left, auto, and it will center everything in between. So let's try that. And now we have it centered to whatever it is. If I make this bigger, it's still centered. If I make it smaller, it's centered. So you do need to set the width. If you forget to set the width, you'll see it won't really come out. But this way, any kind of block of code, you can always center the entire block of code, just like we did here. Now, something that's more common than this, and maybe just as common as centering text, would be centering images. So let's say we wanted to center just the image. So let's get rid of this all. And we're going to go save this. It is saved. Go back. It's not saved. Okay, so we go back, and now everything is back to before. But what we want to do is we only want to center the image. Sometimes you just want an image centered on your page, let's say. And how would we do that? So here we have image. So again, you can't just say text equals center. But what you could do is you could change this into a block of code. I'll just change the tag. I can give it a class, but I'll just change the tag for now. I'm going to change all of my images to center. How am I going to do that? The same way we did here. Margin left, auto, margin right, auto. And there's one more thing I have to do. Because image is actually inline, it's not a block of code. It's not, a div is a block of code, H1 is a block of code, paragraph is a block of code, but this is inline. Images, bold, these things are just inline. Inline, we have to change it to block. And actually here, this should just center the image itself. It's just saying the image with margin left of auto and a margin right of auto, and it's now block, it will display it. So let's try that. And you can see now my image is centered.